Hey, you guys. I'm trying different stuff here tonight. Okay. Happy. Well, the lighting isn't as good as last time because, I don't know, maybe it was because it was like day out light. I don't know. Anyway, if I turn the overhead on, I'm like, whoa, white, like an angel. So, my script is on blue. I am, unscripted on this thing. I kind of maybe I don't have even topics, but stuff like pops into my head like shortly before I want to go on, and then I just turn it on. So tonight, I'm gonna try and like not rush it, but kind of move along, things moving along because I have a lot to unpack tonight for you if you're interested, and it is extremely deep diving for me, and it's also something that was not in the book at all. It's in the same vein as what I'm telling in the book, but it's not like at all in the book, especially by name. So I, I always say like, oh, you're my friend, and actually, you do feel like it's so bizarre because I feel like you're like, you know, like Chandra next door or whatever, but you're like a jillion people, so whatever. So it's really deep diving, and it's gonna be hard. And I don't know if we run out of time or if I have a meltdown. I don't have my husband's phone, but I was gonna do like the Pandora game from last night. Also, there's like just like I guess one little thing that part of it I'm going to do as a Morse code. So some of what we're going to talk about tonight, or I'm going to talk about tonight, is maybe not going to be recognized by people under 40. Definitely not under 40. So then go forward from there. And what I mean by that is I am completely new to this platform. So I understand like community guidelines, but I don't know like where the algorithm is lurking that people don't know. So I'm gonna try. I don't know if this has ever been done before, but people over 50 will know what Pig Latin is. Pig Latin is just a dumb language from ages ago, but not Stone Age. But it feels like Stone Age because I know it. I actually happen to be fluent in Pig Latin. For those of you who know Pig Latin, so I was wondering if I could like talk some words like Pig Latin when they need to be in Pig Latin, if you know what I mean. So there's not going to be a lot of them, but tonight is going to be probably for some of you kind of not a downer, but because I'm not that guy, like this, like Debbie Downer. But what I have to tell you is like it's serious stuff, was serious stuff, and like I said, tonight is not in the book, and I thought I was going to save this for another book, and I'm not. So, the Pig Latin part is there's going to be two words, and those are going to be in Pig Latin because they need to be, and they're also integral to the sentence, I guess. So, and it may never come up, so whatever. Also, one other note. I know people find me over the top, and I know that people find me too much. Like I've been told like you're too much, or you're over the top. Okay, if I am hurting your feelings or hurting anything or your family or your dog, then stop me dead in my tracks, and I need to make adjustments. If I am too much or over the top because you just made an observation about my personality that you think I need to be told, then I don't give an F. Okay. That was a total sidelong. So the words that make them up, I gotta let you know here. If you don't know Pig Latin, just roll with me. And if you're like under 40, please roll with me because the feedback I get, like a lot of it is not like, even close to 40 on the downside. So anyway, whatever. The two words, and you're gonna have to like guess them. And like I said, whatever. but you're gonna have to guess them and then maybe Google it. I don't know. It's not like a raw view of the story, but whatever. So one word, and I can't even like say what the root of it is. I'm just gonna have to leave it up to you. One word, and I may even say it like a babyish way to like kind of further like make it more appropriate and not violate things. That word in and of itself isn't banned, with the V word. Okay. Anyway, whatever. So one of them is going to be, and you're going to know what this is, and so I'm going to make it like whatever. And it's going to be AP Ray. AP Ray, like a baby's name. AP Ray. That's really sick for me to compare it to that, so strike that. So one was AP Ray. The other one goes back to the Bible, and that's just an aside. And that one is Adamise. Okay, so if you are like my age, you totally know what I'm talking about. But it doesn't really matter because there's just going to be one word and the rest is going to be the story. But so we're looking at AP Ray and Adamise. And that's it. I may say, whatever. I may say Enfray, whatever. Just figure it out. I mean, please figure it out. I love you guys. You know, I was looking at the stats or whatever, and I'm just here to like be with you, believe it or not. But I looked at the numbers, and over the past 4 days, we're approaching 5,000 views, and that could just disappear tomorrow. And that's cool, but I probably will still keep doing it because there's so much to unpack that I can't even fit it. It's not that I can't fit it, but it's like I have to vomit it all in to my fingers again for 6 months, whatever. So we'll see. But this one's coming out. I don't know that I've ever even told this to my friends. They will not know this. My husband knows it, and my son my son and I have an agreement that if it's something he doesn't want to know, I mean, he knows everything, and he knows everything I know, folks. Hint, hint. So if he doesn't want to hear it, doesn't want to hear it, doesn't listen to it, whatever. So, let's begin. So, when I was 14, that's when I was hired for ET. I turned 15 on the set of ET. That has nothing to do with anything. I'm just giving you a time frame, especially for those of us who are the older set. So, we're talking 1981 of what I'm going to be just rapping with you about. And I'm not like scripted. I'm looking like to save my life so I don't like have major brain freeze. So let's say 14. And I was, just don't put it around the ET time. Let's just pretend it's all after ET, because I just really kind of feel suddenly really weird about wrecking anyone's like impression of, or whatever of me because I'm sharing some horrors. So I really struggle with that, you know? I'm not out to ruin the franchise. I'm out to tell you what franchises do for fuel, like cannibals. So anyway, at 14, I'm clubbing. You know, I've already like driven 3 stolen cars, okay? Moved the age after ET. And one of the places that I drove a stolen car was to a nightclub called The Veil. Joseph Brooks, if you're out there from the underground now, beautiful King of the Hill, I always love you, and you also design beautiful jewelry. He was the man, okay, 81 LA Underground. And this club was called The Veil, and you had to have an ID, a photo ID to get in there. For some reason in 81, no one really gave an F if you look 12 as long as you said I'm 21. I do not know why. My hand to God, I was going in and out of nightclubs at 14, and I wasn't being carded. But they were underground nightclubs and after hours nightclubs. That still didn't make a difference. The woman, I just realized as well, talking about that and underground, wow, okay. Somebody I'm going to be discussing tonight actually I realized took me to one of those clubs, and actually, I looked 12 when I was 14, and she convinced the dude that I was a writer named Craig Lee who used to write for the LA Weekly, like 7,000 years BC. And so, whatever, that's how random it was. Like, oh, I'm Craig Lee. Oh, you're 12. Okay. What? So I'm nightclubbing, and I'm at the Vale, and it's Joseph Books Club. You have to get in, and I'm 14, and I have this picture ID to go in this like underground club. That's 1981. All things are not like, a lot of things are legal then that are not legal now. So I'm nightclubbing. Again, I'm not drinking, I'm not drugging, but I really was driven to party in a couple of different directions. So I'm nightclubbing, I'm in the Vale, and it's very small, low ceilings, it's kind of like nightmarish, dark. There's a bar, no food, and bands that are playing there, like the Bangles, used to be called the Colors, saw them there. Dream Syndicate, saw them there. Lots. And it was my favorite place, and it was like a lot of people's favorite place, but you couldn't get in with the ID without, excuse me. So I'm there. I'm with probably my bestie who would drive stolen cars with me. Oh my God, E.T., I am so sorry. I am not out to ruin any franchise. It's just what happened. Like the same type of thing happened in that Star Wars movie with the kid, and he's like defying whatever, and he's Captain Kirk, and he's driving that car. Well, it's kind of like that. So I'm in the Vale, and so there's this female, and she is in the music industry. It was like a private club, and she was 31. Okay, so she wants to dance with me. So we're dancing, and it was a really different, varied time in the world, in America, in that time. Because, and this is going to sound really random, but like every other movie, excuse me again, out at that time, besides like teen rom-coms, was, oh my God, I fell in love with my 50-year-old teacher. Yay! I'm so freaking sorry. So, anyway, that was the period. Do the math from that. So I'm dancing with this woman, and I'll tell you her name at the end of this. And so that progresses, right? And so it's all about like hooking up that weekend. Doesn't mean what hooking up means now. So you go to the Vale, I see her next weekend, whatever, weekend after. And we're there, and she's dancing. So in short order, I have somebody's phone number, or no, she has my phone number, unfortunately, because we didn't have cell phones at that time. So I had a private landline in my bedroom. Oh my God, I'm so old. So she got my number, or I got her, or whatever, and we started like going to see music together in clubs. And I was 14, she was 31. So how do I go from here? Well, I gotta move along. So I'm just gonna like tell it like it is, as it spills into my head and out my mouth. So we start, like hanging out, okay? It sounds weird, but there were a lot of things that were not weird back then. Like I said, like the teen movies, it was like, oh, look, Joan Collins is like 400, but I'm only blank, 7 blank. Diddy blank, I don't want to say underage. And so it was all about, oh, that's really good, that's really cute, it makes you hetero. Whatever, bad news for me as an actor at the time. And so we're going out, we're hanging out, and then like nightmares happen. Okay, nightmares happen. And they happen 3 times. I have these 3 nightmares. Okay? And I don't even know. Okay, well, I have to use one of the big Latin words. So we're going out, and then these whatever. So my dad is out of town on a movie. My dad's an actor. He's in one of the shorts on my channel. There's like pictures of him boxing, pictures of him acting and stuff. So he's out of town on location. He's got this really cool apartment, a lot of character on Franklin and Highland. No, La Brea. Yeah, La Brea. And like, what do you live next door? Like La Brea, I just waited 10 seconds on La Brea. and Franklin. So I'm there, and it's a place to go because it's like, oh, nightclub, whatever, and I have this place. Oh, great, I have this place. I'm 14. I got a key. Woohoo! So my dad's place is like available, and we're hanging out, and so it's time to go to his place because he's out of town. I have a key. Boy. So we go there. And she has an boyfriend bae already, okay? She has an boyfriend bae already. And the creepy thing about what I'm going to tell you is that the boyfriend bae was fully aware of everything. So do you use your imagination on everything, and the boyfriend bae is aware of it. And the lady is not a young lady, and he is not a young gentleman. And I use gentleman really, really, really loosely. So we're there. So David Bowie's Scary Monsters just came out. And it's still to this day one of my favorite albums. It is also traumatizing for me to listen to. But it's such a good album, I like it still. Because I was a fan of his since I learned to drive stick shift when I was 15. And I used to listen to his older albums, like when he had long hair. Even pre-Ziggy Stardust. So, another thing that no one under 50 is going to understand. But, whatever. So we're there, and then I want to play Scary Monsters for her because I liked it, and I just got it at Tower Records. And Tower Records, when a brand new album comes out, you'll remember this, LA, they just dump all of the LPs at the front of the store, literally box by box, emptying them. And literally within half an hour, they're all gone. And then they dump more boxes. So that's how I got Scary Monsters. So I want to play it. And my dad's apartment is available. Wow. Twist of fate there. So we're inside and we're listening to Scary Monsters. And my dad's apartment is empty. And she AP raised. Yeah. She AP raised me. And you know that is... that candy is actually possible. Please don't debate that candy can't happen because of gender. Okay. So that happens, right? AP Ray. And I am listening to that album for the first time, and I still love it, and it's still traumatic, and who cares and whatever, but that's weird. And so that was only the first time leaving you there. So then what's weird is that she somehow in 1981, and me and everyone being hypnotized by total incorrectness, like the woman in my book, which you're going to have to buy to read, who's totally out this movie star and whatever, used to also be my girlfriend. Yikes. So same thing with this one. And so suddenly there's a summer trip to Europe, right? And there's like a handful of us pick like honor students to go with like the math teacher, whatever. Anyway, so we go. It's like, you know, it's not quite a summer, but it's full summer because we have, the proviso is that we have to study French and math. And then, go. And it was actually so liberal then that the math teacher, who was the guardian ad litem, was just so tired of us all that he just sort of hung out in his apartment in Paris having cocktails. And we at 14 were literally let loose in Paris. And like, you know, my girlfriends, of which my closest people in the universe at the time were 3 young ladies, were like going into random apartments for parties. And that house that happened to us in Amsterdam, we were 14. Okay, so whoa. We're going on this summer trip. Guess the F what? David Bowie lady, AP Ray lady person decides she's going to oxstay me. Oxstay, like really, like follow very enthusiastically. Got it. And so she's at the airport because she knows about the summer trip. And suddenly she has tickets. And suddenly her boyfriend's there who knew everything. And oh, bye, everyone's going. Side note, my mom will, I will explain that my mother's knowledge of certain things later at another time. Is this getting really serious? I mean, I'm sorry. So anyway, she shows up at the airport. I'm at the airport, math teacher, girlfriends, everyone's flying to Amsterdam. And like my mom's like, well, at least don't let her like fly on the same plane. What? We're in Amsterdam. She of course gets the hotel right next to us, and she's 31 and she's in Europe on her passport as that age we are in as 14. Now we're kind of car accidented together, and after all that AP Ray like girlfriend weirdness, she now is convinced that she like is my girlfriend. She like in some alternate universe. Do you know what she does? My girlfriends and I were really kind of naughty, like naughty comrades. So the three of them thought, this woman is not 21. I forgot to tell you that. All the time she's telling me she's 21. Honestly, God, she's telling me she's like on the verge of 22. Okay, so they're convinced she's not. So she's out, like not doing summer trip things from her hotel, but we can get in. So me and my three girlfriends get in, and maybe she was like downstairs. I don't know, but her purse was there, and or at least her passport was there. So we look at the passport and we amscray, which is pig Latin, get out of there. And the passport says 1960, which made her 31, not 21. Okay? So, wait a minute. No, it said 51, not 61. Right. 61 would have made her the right age. 51 was not, was her age. So we see the passport, you run out, whatever, and then suddenly we're weird with her. For obvious reasons. Just across the board weird, and we're like, my girlfriends and I were like this back then. So then my girlfriends are like, God love them. We're all like, together, whatever, in our room. And they're like, lady, you're not 21, essentially. And then she like gets weird. And then, so then I'm jumping. Then later that day, like after this like discussion, she's like, oh, no, let me show you. She took her passport, and my hand to God, she took liquid paper, which at the time was this little white paint stuff, and went over her passport, just brush, and then drew a 6 instead of a 5. I am not kidding you. And she showed us it to prove that she was 21, not 31. So that's kind of it for that, really. I don't know. And her name is Debbie Medina. Hi, Debbie. Debbie can't be found because, not that I care, but Debbie can't be found because how many Debbie Medinas do you think are in the phone book? Like, how many trillions? I tried. There's no finding Debbie Medina, but your name was Debbie Medina, and we went to the club Sold Out, and we went to the Veil, and we went to the Mask, and we went to Starwood, and we went to all these clubs that anyone over 50 near LA will know or actually read about. And so that's what happened. And that's one of the AP rays that is not in my book. There were 3, and 2 are in the book. And I didn't have to say Artemise because it was a woman. How about that? So, where are we at? Anyway, we're at 23 minutes. Do you even want to listen anymore? Because my pig Latin notes are over, really. Except for the fact that after that all happened with Debbie Medina, when she got nailed on her passport forgery, she disappeared forever and never saw her again. All the places, never saw her. Wouldn't answer anything, gone. And that's Debbie friggin' Medina. Bye, Debbie, because I just told my friend here, who happens to be a jillion people, that you did that, and that's your name. And the Oifrenbe's name, who was aware that all of this was going on at or as it happened, I don't know his name. I think it was David, but I don't know his name. I wish I did, because I would not use Pig Latin with him either. Because he knew, and he was the same age. He was 31 too. This was 1981. That's what was going down. And you wonder, I don't really, I will never be like rhetorical with you or whatever, but, and some wonder why, the two I mentioned in the book, and are only, well, whatever, those are two of three. So now you know the third, and it's not in the book. And FYI, I'm not throwing like the most salacious red bloody meat at you to like grab you or anything. I literally lived all of these things, and there are many, 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 many things. So as they roll through my head over 20 years doing the dishes, they stick like Post-it notes in my head. Does that make me over the top? Maybe, I don't know. Or does that just make me like me and like, please don't shame me about being Sean? Anyway, so I don't know where I was at, but oh, so I'm not out to do a lot of things. Whatever I just said, I'm not out to do. I'm sharing, and the numbers don't mean anything. They do and they don't, because they're high numbers, and you're listening in one of them, and you're also listening to a lot, or not listening, but watching the little story shorts that involve my sister Soleil Moonfry, who was Punky Brewster, and that is also an over 40 set, because Soleil and I are only like 9 years apart. So that name is probably why there's like, extra numbers there. And I the director in the book, why am I getting into this? I already talked about this. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? The day today wasn't actually that bad. Not that it's always bad, but I told you my husband actually does not have technically borderline emphysema. Oh wow, this is a nice segue to happiness, but he doesn't. He does have very severe COPD, and I have to be nurse ratchet, like, for the rest of my life, and I love him dearly, and I don't friggin' care, and you'll know that if you're in love with somebody. But that the episodes happen a lot, and there's only like certain things you can do so fast, and so because I have 288 clinical hours over social work that span from my drinking age until 2000, and then I went into the other one, which was really boring, which I said was transportation. And I don't know. We just had our anniversary like a week ago, 32nd anniversary. So I guess, I don't know. Another thing that occurred to me while I was thinking about Avi Ray, which is really creepy or spooky, or just being Sean, I'm allowed to be Sean without being over the top for you, and not you, but those people, and being too much, because you know what? I'm not depressed. So why is that bothering you? Because it's not bothering me. So anyway, that's, I promised I wasn't going to keep these longer than about like 10 minutes. And the numbers, like I said, they mean only to me that you're listening. I'm not going to go viral. I'm nowhere near getting any money from YouTube, and I don't care. And my book is coming up May 15th. The revised launch drop is on May 15th, not May 1st. And read my page if you want to know why, because I word vomit. I overshare. Some of my friends out there, you know who you are. I tag, I word vomit, I tag vomit, and I'm sorry. And I know you still love me. So it's dropping the 15th. And here's the situation. I guess this is, 29 minutes. I'm going to wrap it. But situation is the Vanity Press is going to be available in my hand on May 13th. So the drop, official launch drop, is going to be on the 15th. I will have the book to show you. I will flip through and show you all my personal illustrations in between each chapter. Everything else is plain. I don't want like pictures of me like I was in the industry, then I was a social worker. Rah, 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 me. No, the back's going to be like solid black. It's just my little pet publishing company, which is called Robin Hood Press. That'll be on it. Cool cover that you've already seen probably 10,000 times. Same thing on the spine. Those really cool illustrations that I like in between each chapter. And 10 chapters, one prologue, one epilogue, one dedication page. Can't wait till you see that one. And table of contents and whatever. So that's that on the book. And also, again, my book is not a profit book. It is a non-for-profit book. And this is boring. It's like those people that come out in the Oscars and say, like, I'm from whatever. Like, I don't even know what the company is that carries the briefcase. And then they have to read you all the rules of the Academy, and like you fall dead asleep. So anyway, I'm not going to do that to you about what I was just talking about. I'm not going to read you the rules of the game because it's antithetical to what I'm doing here. I'm really, I guess, over the top and too much by making you my friend. Like, we're in the bathroom. I'm talking for 31 minutes, and it may be a jillion people, maybe 5,000, which is what it says for 4,900, or it may be 20 people that watch this video. But those 20 people watched it, and I had something to say, and it was very, very, very personal, and it's not that funny. But it can be funny, because the second book that's I'm shooting for Christmas release is just as juicy, whatever, bloody red meat. But it's all gonna be funny, I promise. It's like, I was a phone XA operator. I think I mentioned that anyway. Angela, that's how I made my living, for a year and a half, playing a woman on a telephone line that is a naughty line. And you will never hear that voice because the only one that's heard it is my son. And I promised him, okay, if you got that out of me that I had to do that to eat, then I will do the voice for you, which I did. He went in the bedroom. I called him from the living room. I gave him the voice. And he didn't freak out, but he's like, I don't need to hear that anymore. And I'm like, good, because you're the only one that's ever going to hear it again. Because even my husband hasn't heard that voice, because it's really creepy. Not to overuse the word creepy, but that one was also creepy. It's just you put your voice into a higher register like you would Donald Duck. And then you just keep it there and you get used to this Donald Duck level kind of thing. And it came out as this really not very bright lady with ample measurements, whatever. That's even like borderline not appropriate for my females, who I humbly helped get abortion array legal in a red state like Arizona by just like lawn mowing Tucson with my son's friends, etc., to get that proposition passed. It passed. We're in a red state, but it's still legal. So anyway, hey, you know what I learned today about again at the sink doing the dishes? Not that I'm complaining, and thinking about the anniversary, and I thought, wow. You know what the pattern is sometimes for maybe those of you that may be a little bit older and are in a little bit more longer term relationships, is that you learn that communication is king, right? It like has 10 commandments in my head. And so in the beginning, it's like you're both a mess with communication because you don't really know each other, but you love each other, but you don't know really how to communicate with each other. So then there's this period, and then you slowly have this gradually like, wow, come to Jesus moment where it's like, okay, I'm getting the groove of this communication thing. Then like another 100 years goes by, or 2 if you're a 7-year relationship, whatever. And then it's like, okay, it's really working. And then you come to the latter years of whatever it is that you or I may be experiencing of the relationship. And then sometimes it's like, what happened? Do we have amnesia? We kind of sort of forgot how to communicate in a healthy manner. And we're in love. It's been 32 years. That's a no-brainer. But it was just my observation that how ironic is it? You start out a mess being with each other vis-a-vis communication, then you learn all this time, then you get it, and you're in the groove, and then ooh, slow dive, and suddenly some of us at moments have like no idea how to communicate anymore with this person. So this is what I look like with my glasses off. I don't actually. I actually wear my glasses a lot in later years because if I don't in pictures, I look like Cheech and Chong's tequila hangover, and that's just in the eyes, hence the glasses. So we're at actually 35 minutes. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna do this every night, and unless I get like either banned, yanked, or people are saying, please don't be so over the top or be so too much, then I don't know, I'll probably still be doing it. I love you. And I kind of jumped into this tonight. Like my husband was like, usually you do this like 11, 12 at night. And I was, again, doing the dishes. And I thought, oh my God, this is just percolating. I got to take my shoes off. And next thing you know, I'm right here with you. Somebody told me I need to like be more eye level. Let me know if that's the case, because I'm usually here. And it doesn't bother me. So I love you even though I'm over the top and too much. And you're not a bot to me. Like you're somebody like a Hal or something. You just happen to be a jillion people. Again, I love you. I live for you. My fans keep me alive and give me hope that there is decent people out there and that we still live in a humane world. So I'll leave you with that for what it's worth. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Legit.